because he doesn't want us to. We know nothing about him. We haven't seen one thing from him.
John, does that answer your question?
Yes. Do you know the number of that executive order?
No, I don't.
So I can show my mom.
Hey, guys, search engine, Obama signs executive order sealing records. I remember that in the news on January 22nd. Obama signs executive order sealing records. Thanks for the call, John. Let's talk to Nick in Colorado. Nick, you're on the air. Go.
Hey, I just was wondering since we know that the shadow government basically put Obama into his position, my question is, why do you think that they didn't put somebody in there that could produce the documents, or just, produce documents for him, since they have that
I'll answer the question. They knew he was slick and a darling. They could blackmail him and control him with the information, with it being compromised, and they love to violate our Constitution and sovereignty. Like Obama became the first, I'm going to play this later, did you guys cue it up? In Fall of the Republic, we have him becoming the first U.S. president to chair the UN Security Council that violates the Constitution. Phil-Berg.
Yes, it does violate the Constitution, and I think they put him up because when I got the phone call, you got to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The phone call I got was, they said, Phil, you're the only attorney in the country we know with brass you-know-what that would sue Obama. And that was an honor I took here, but since then other attorneys have joined suit. But it's very rare you're going to find someone that wants to challenge the president or someone of that statute. And I did it because I think there's nothing more important than our Constitution. And there's very few of us that will do something like that.
Absolutely. And again, I meant to have it queued up from Fall of the Republic. We did like 5 minutes in the film. And I'll play it before the show ends today after you leave us, specifically on him. And CNN said he's now president of the world. He has to swear the UN oath, and we give the subsection of the Constitution where it says you can't do that. I mean, this is outrageous.
Right, and anything he does, the national media is not, anything detrimental, the national media does not cover it.
All right, we're going to jam in Nick, Ronald, Bob, and John's quick questions, quick answers from Phil-Berg, ObamaCrimes.com. I'm Alex Jones. Our websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Find out all about Obama in my film, Fall of the Republic, on DVD. Lindsey Williams is coming up, but when we start the next segment, I'm going to play about 4 minutes from Fall of the Republic, where I break down Obama becoming the head of the UN. And I'll give you the chapter and verse of the Constitution where it's treason. Ronald in New Jersey, you're on the air with Phil-Berg. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Berg, Alex, thank you very much. Just to be quick, I have a question that I've been trying to get a good answer to for about a year. I agree with everything you said. I think that there's ample evidence that there is no birth certificate. But even if there was, even if Obama was born in Hawaii, just by virtue of the fact that his father was never an American, and had he lived, could very well be ruling Kenya. Doesn't that in itself contradict what was intended by the founders in coining the term natural-born citizen?
I don't believe so, and that's an argument other attorneys have come forth with. I don't believe so because we keep changing the definition of natural-born for this reason. If husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend are traveling any place in the world and a child is born, if both are U.S. citizens, their child, when it comes back through immigration and gets a passport, is considered natural-born. The statute here, which was changed when Obama was supposedly born August 4th, 1961, the American citizen, in this case the mother, to convey natural-born status, had to live in this country for 10 years, and 5 of those years had to be after the age of 14. 14 is 5 is 19. She was only 18, so she couldn't convey natural-born.
So we've got him right there. I mean,
we have them all over the place. The guy's a fraud. The guy's a phony.
His real name's Barry-Soetoro. Bob in Texas. Bob, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have 2 quick comments. The comment for Mr. Berg was that back before the election, I was able to get through and talk to John Moody, the vice president of Fox News, and his excuse for them not covering it is that it is quote unquote not their job, and that people shouldn't be lazy and do the work themselves, which I found pretty.
Your
funny.
phone's really bad. Do you have a question?
No, just a comment.
All right, Bob, thank you.
That's an interesting comment because Fox, not their job. Fox, it's very strange. They came out of New York, spent an hour and a half driving down here, filmed me for an hour and a half, went back to New York, never aired 1 minute of it. But then if it's not their job, then how come all the media, including Fox, ripped apart, and maybe Fox didn't do it, but all the other media ripped apart Sarah Palin? You know, their job.
Well, now Fox is going after you, great guns, with the birther thing. I mean, it's incredible, folks. I mean, that is wrong. If Phil-Berg, even if he was wrong, has a right to ask these questions. This is outrageous that Glenn Beck's doing that. And I don't want to attack Glenn Beck, but I'm sick of him. Okay, let's talk to John in Wisconsin. John, you're on the air with Phil-Berg. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Berg. Are you still looking for someone with a common ancestor, since that would convey a material interest in the birth certificate?
Sure. Are you?
Has anyone? Yeah, I have a common ancestor. Disadvantage of being a Mayflower family. There are only so many white people on the continent.
Afterwards, and we'll see what we can do. They'll come up with some excuse, but
yeah, that's too far back. I mean, if he's related to the Mayflower, then I'm related to Obama on both sides of my family.
Yeah, that's true too. That's probably too far back, but contact me. We'll see what we can do. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thanks for the call. Let's talk to George in Connecticut. You're on the air with Phil-Berg. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Boy, you're a hard man to get through to four times. But anyway, the main point is both you guys should try to sue through the English court for them trying to slander you, whatever, especially for you with the Financial Times, because you don't even have to prove that they slandered you. They have to prove that they innocently, or they were innocent of not slandering you. And then being these Murdoch papers and magazines and institutions, guaranteed they're rebroadcast there. You can sue their pants off and own them and then use their own money to kick their ass all over the world.
All right, George, it's a good point. You have been slandered by the Murdoch papers in England. I've seen it, and I have as well. What about that?
Interesting point. The only thing, I'm swamped right with the Obama thing, but we'll have to consider that, for you and me, Alex. Right? We could do something, get some money out of these people. But I'm more concerned right now with using my efforts to out Obama or barry-soetoro, and we'll worry about,
Yeah, that's the big fish. That's the big fish we've got to fry. Jamming in, one more call. Chris in Maryland, you're on the air.
You guys. Hey, fellas, it's my understanding, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I had a discussion with my dad, but the real issue isn't your Hannitys and your Glenn Becks. Isn't the real problem the progressives that are taking over our nation?
Absolutely, but the problem is Beck supported the banker bailout. Beck says global warming's real now. We've discredited the fake liberals. I'm attacking anybody who's unconstitutional, but I mean, what's your point there?
The point is that the progressives, and I believe maybe 100% of the Democrats and the majority of the Republicans together are all progressive in destroying the Constitution. They're after the Constitution.
All right, listen, I got to let you go because that's not really a question on this issue. Phil-Berg, we got Lindsey Williams coming up, and I'm going to get him to hold a few minutes. I'm sure he's fine because we've got an hour and a half with him coming up. I want to come back and take some calls. One guy disagrees, Ted in North Carolina. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to play about a 4 or 5 minute clip from my film Fall of the Republic on a separate issue of treason. I mean, he should be impeached right now for this alone. This is absolute fact that you're about to hear. But I want to go to a call that disagrees because I didn't see them there on hold. Ted in North Carolina disagrees, I guess, with the whole birth certificate issue or him being barry-soetoro. So go ahead, Ted.
What I disagree with is you're telling us this is the big fish who's the foreign usurper, and we've got dozens of members in Congress and the Senate that are dual citizens of another country. And they've already acted on that to start some wars that we shouldn't have been in. And you've got this disgraced lawyer on who's been fined $10,000 and had to do hours of ethics classes for legal malpractice.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Alex, I'll comment on that. I have had hundreds of cases since I was admitted to practice in 1970, which is 39 years ago. And one case, we admit, we screwed up on. I'm not perfect, okay, out there. And I did get fined, okay, but that's not the point. The point is here, and the point of when you mention members of Congress dual citizenship, that's a different situation. That's not the person running for president or the usurper that is president.
Well, let me stop you. Ted, I appreciate your call, but let me say this. We're dealing with Barack Obama, who is starting all these new wars. Phil-Berg's been anti-war the entire time. I know doctors, dentists, lawyers. There isn't a doctor or a dentist that I know who hasn't had somebody try some malpractice thing on them. That happens to any lawyer who's been a deputy attorney general or anybody else. And so to sit there and say, you know, that Phil-Berg was disciplined once, I mean, all the real lawyers I know are constantly getting disciplined. So for you to, I mean, see, this is a red herring. We're talking about Barack Obama, his real name being Barry-Soetoro, and this guy calls in talking about Israel. You know, I was talking about Israel and all the problem with Rahm Emanuel and being in the Israeli military last week. I mean, we cover all this stuff, and then people get even madder because that's not the only subject that we cover, Phil-Berg. I mean, Phil, would you be for a dual citizen of Israel or any other country being president?
No.
So there you go. I mean, again, it's a red herring.